Hello there, you're now with me, Hendigui, and welcome to your 5 p.m. English News on TVS. Let's dive into today's topics. Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Abang Johari Tun Openg has proposed amendments to Article 1, Bracket 2 and Article 160, Bracket 2 of the Federal Constitution, which he described would be more comprehensive and reflects the true spirit and intention of those involved when they inked the Malaysia Agreement 1963.
These amendments to the definition of the Federation under Article 160, Bracket 2 are crucial and must be done so that the Malaysian Agreement 1963 and its annexures are recognized in the Federal Constitution. This amendment would also introduce the definition of Malaysia Day, which was never defined before.
According to the Chief Minister, this is the second such attempt of the amendments in recent years. The first amendment was attempted in 2019. However, it did not receive the two-thirds majority support of the members of Parliament.
The Sarawak GPS did not lend its support to the earlier amendment because, in our view, the amendment was purely cosmetic in nature and did not reflect the spirit and special status of Sabah and Sarawak as envisaged in MA 63.
Earlier, Abang Johari received a courtesy call from the Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Parliament and Law, Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, where, among others, they discussed the proposed amendments to the Federal Constitution and other matters related to Malaysia Agreement 1963 and Sarawak's interests.
Similarly, Abang Johari said Sarawak has also discussed with the federal government on the amendment to the definition of natives under Article 161A of the Federal Constitution. He said that this would allow the state government the power to decide which ethnic group in Sarawak shall be recognized as being indigenous.
With this amendment, the power to decide which races in Sarawak shall be recognized as being indigenous to the state shall be determined by the state through state laws.
Now, good news, as Malaysia has generated more than 7.2 billion ringgit in business leads with companies based in several countries during the first 2 weeks of its participation in EXPO 2020 Dubai. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said it is a positive outcome in the first 2 weeks of Malaysia's participation at the Expo as the country begins its economic recovery post-COVID-19.
The Prime Minister, in a statement, said the momentum is expected to maintain for the next 25 weeks, anchored by various ministries and agencies, including state governments. Meanwhile, the total figure in potential trade and investment was garnered from 14 memorandums of understandings, 3 letters of intent, and 2 memorandums of cooperation between 14 Malaysian companies and their foreign counterparts. The foreign companies are based in China, Egypt, India, Iran, Oman, Qatar, the United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates, and the United States. Ismail Sabri said Malaysia is also confident of surpassing its total target of between 8 billion ringgit to 10 billion ringgit in trade business leads at the 6-month-long Expo. The Prime Minister also congratulates the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation for leading the country's participation in Expo 2020 Dubai and Malaysian Green Technology and Climate Change Centre as the implementing agency for the project.
Now, Malaysia has won the election to take one of the 18 seats in the United Nations Human Rights Council with 183 votes for the 2022 to 2024 term. According to Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, Malaysia's success in taking a seat in the UN Human Rights Council is a great achievement and recognition of the status of human rights.
He added Malaysia is ready to play an active role, to be the facilitator for conciliation, the enabler for cooperation, and the builder of consensus. As such, Malaysia will work closely with the UN member states to advance the global human rights agenda as enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Meanwhile, the United Nations UN in Malaysia welcomed Malaysia's pledge to mainstream human rights standards across policies and engage on other human rights treaties.
The UN in Malaysia, in a statement, also congratulated the government of Malaysia for its third-time election to the HRC and for its progressive pledges and commitments. In addition, the UN in Malaysia also applauded the government's commitment under its team Unity for Humanity to fulfill its obligations under core human rights instruments such as the Convention on the Rights of the Child, the Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, and the Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities. The UN in Malaysia will also continue to support Malaysia's efforts throughout the Universal Periodic Review process and stands ready to support South-South cooperation and experience sharing in the region and beyond.
Kau rasa siapa yang ada cita misteri? Selanta cita handaka. Misteri kedai kunting TVSTVMY.
Saya amat berharap agar seni serta budaya tarian kita dapat dikekalkan oleh generasi yang akan datang, terutamanya di Sarawak, supaya ianya tidak ditelan zaman. Seni dan budaya ini hendaklah diteruskan oleh generasi yang akan datang.
Sebelum kita masuk latihan, lupakan perkara personal. Tinggalkan perkara personal tu di depan pintu. Kita masuk training, tutup, jangan bawa.
Insentif bayaran balik pinjaman PTPTN Anak Sarawak merupakan inisiatif yang ke-69 oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Patinggi Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zohari Bintun Abang Haji Openg. Insentif yang diberikan oleh Kerajaan Negeri Sarawak ini berbentuk pengurangan bayaran balik sebanyak 30% ke atas baki pinjaman PTPTN yang melibatkan 9,000 peminjam dari negeri ini. Melalui pertukaran memorandum persefahaman antara Yayasan Sarawak dan PTPTN, perbelanjaan sebanyak RM30 juta telah diperuntukkan bagi insentif tersebut. Pembayaran balik pinjaman PTPTN bekas pelajar yang layak menikmati insentif ini dibuat menerusi Yayasan Sarawak. Dengan adanya insentif ini, ia dapat meringankan beban peminjam anak-anak Sarawak seterusnya menyelesaikan isu tunggakan bayaran pinjaman PTPTN di negeri ini.
Welcome back. Now, the government is convinced that the franchise industry will record 13 billion ringgit in sales revenue this year, although most businesses are affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the figure is better than last year, the year the world stood still due to the emergence of the coronavirus, where sales value of only 5.2 billion ringgit was recorded.
The franchise industry contributed 13.3 billion ringgit to the economy back in 2019, providing more than 80,000 job opportunities with an estimated salary contribution of 1.4 billion ringgit. The total sales showed an increase of 19.1% compared to the previous year, which totaled at 11.16 billion ringgit.
In the next 5 years, concerted efforts from various agencies and industry players are needed to revitalize the momentum.
He made the statement while launching the 28th Malaysia 2021 International Franchise Exhibition and Conference virtually on Thursday, October 14th. He added that in an effort to achieve the target, the government has allocated 10 million ringgit to the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs to continue the implementation of the Enhanced Franchise Development Program. The program aims to provide training to local franchise entrepreneurs so that they can equip themselves with international franchise practices and management, business matching and trade mission, in addition to export cost repayment.
Under this program, new business owners being offered matching grants, whereas full grants is for the franchise owners to expand for more business opportunities.
Ismail Sabri reiterated that Malaysia has always adapted itself to the policy of supporting franchises and welcomes international franchises to grow their business in this country. He added that the effort is in line with the nation's target to make Malaysia a franchise hub for ASEAN.
A total of 21,355,550 individuals, or 91.2% of the adult population in Malaysia, have completed their COVID-19 vaccination as of yesterday.
Based on the Health Ministry's data on the COVID Now portal, 95% of the adult population, or 22,247,174 individuals, have received at least one dose of the vaccine. On Thursday, a total of 206,418 doses of the vaccine were dispensed, involving both the adult and the adolescent populations. This brings the total number of doses administered under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program since February 24 to 46,458,672. As for teenagers aged 12 to 17 years, a total of 551,972 individuals, or 17.5% of them, have completed the vaccination, while 76.7%, or 2,416,010 others, have received at least the first dose of the vaccine since the PIC program for the group was launched on September 8th.
Now wrapping up the 5 p.m. news, Xenofarm COVID-19 vaccine is now available in Malaysia, and Duo Pharma Sendirian Berhad has been authorized as Xenofarm's registration holder and to engage in the sales and distribution of the vaccine in the country.
In a statement today, Duo Pharma said the first shipment of the vaccine had arrived in batches in September 2021, and it is now widely available at clinics and private hospitals nationwide. Its Group Managing Director, Leonard Arif Abdul Shattar, said Duo Pharma is committed to supporting the government's vaccination program and augmenting the national COVID-19 immunization program by expanding vaccine distribution channels to ensure full vaccine coverage in Malaysia. According to the statement, the Xenofarm vaccine is currently indicated for individuals aged 18 to 59. In July 2021, the Ministry of Health's Drug Control Authority, or DCA, had approved the conditional registration of the Xenofarm COVID-19 vaccine for use in Malaysia.
And that concludes the 5 p.m. English news on TVS. As usual, don't forget to tune in for the Nightline at 11:30 p.m. with Douglas Elliott. With that, I'm Handy Gui. Stay safe and have a pleasant day.